I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
All right. Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. Here we are. We've got a few dicks on today. I'm Al Ducharme, Studio City, California. That's Al Romas in Tampa, Florida. And Al, who is our special guest today?
We have a special guest, another guy. He's currently down in Florida. He's an old friend of mine, actor, comedian, magician, and a lover of White Russians and fudge. Here he is. This is Jimmy Shubert.
Jimmy.
The joke that never dies.
That's right, man. That thing's like 10 years old, and
in order to explain to the audience, we were working together in Las Vegas, and you said to me, Shubert, it doesn't work with somebody. We go out and hang out. I said, who have you worked with? He said, well, I worked with this one kid, and every time I asked him if he wanted to go get a drink at the bar, he would come back and he would have a bag from the gift shop. He goes, now I'm just going up to my room and drink some Kahlua and eat some fudge. And apparently he was a fat kid. Apparently he was a little, just kind of a gluttonous mass. And I just thought that was the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. No, I'm going to go back to my room and have some Kahlua and fudge.
I'm going to make Kahlua, White Russians, eat some fudge, and go to bed. And wonder why I'm so fat.
I'm going to go home and work on my type 2 diabetes, but you guys have a good time going out to enjoy your shopping. Who the fuck? No, I was just saying, so that's the joke that no matter what happens, it'll come up and go, let's lay off the Kahlua, lay off the fudge, we'll post back and forth. It just never dies.
Never dies.
You pick it right up where you left off. That's all good. Now, tell everybody where you are right now. What is your locale, if you don't mind giving it away?
My locale is Delray Beach, Florida.
Nice.
I was living in Los Angeles for the last a bunch of years, and I just decided that I wanted to get someplace where I could work and kind of try to at least eke out a meager living to pay my bills. And I just kind of, it was a homeless situation. It's the pandemic. It's a lot of things, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to go ditch out, and that's what I did. So at least temporarily, I'm here in Delray Beach, Florida.
Well, good time to make a change.
And you're doing a lot of shows, man. I see, you're at every fucking restaurant, Chick-fil-A, IHOP, whatever you're working nightly. And
as long as they're dropping out, some shows are outside because some people feel more comfortable outside. So some people are social distancing shows indoors. Mm-hmm. If that's what it takes. I mean, I don't give a fuck anymore. I mean, at the point, it's like, I'm a real stand-up comedian. And if I say that, Al, you're a real stand-up comedian. It's like, I live for this shit. I live to make people laugh. I love it. It's why I'm not an old, bitter, jaded fuck. I still love what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do it. And not being able to do it for many months severely affected my mental health. And I just needed to get the fuck out and be able to do something, as little as it is, or, just to be able to try to do what I do,
Mm-hmm. No, kudos to you for making those changes and saying, hey, this is my dream. This is my passion. Nothing's going to stop me. And I know that Al Romas has had his share of land gigs and dealing with 25%, 50% capacity, or sometimes 100%
sometimes
capacity.
Full. Yeah. Recently I did, I don't know, Jimmy, if you've done Visani's in Port Charlotte, but that's like, 5 years ago there. They didn't just pack it in, no masks, all good, man.
They're killing it. There's no competition.
No, I know. There's some places in Florida, they don't give a fuck. And their numbers aren't going up either. It's not like their numbers are going up. They're just, especially on that side, on the west coast of Florida, they don't give a fuck. And so, and I'd rather live my life like that, quite frankly. I mean, obviously, if this thing was with a 99.6% survival rate, I'm not worried about it. And don't get me wrong, I know people that my friend I went to high school with was in ICU for like 14 days breathing on a ventilator. I know the thing is real, but I mean, I don't get a flu shot every year either. I seem to be fine, and I travel like a fucking lost piece of luggage. You'd figure, I got a very strong immune system. I'm an ass eater from way back. I used to throw a couple tongue darts in her Harry Moss bucket after Taco Tuesday. And she'd let one slip and be like, excuse me. And I was like, thanks for the fresh air. And I'd get back in there. So I'm not really worried
you're not worried about this. No,
I'm not worried about that, bro. Come on. I mean, Who do you think you're dealing with? Joey Potatoes, bro? You know? I mean, I really, I mean, seriously, okay, I did all the shit you said to do. We sheltered in place. We did all, you know, now I'm like, okay, enough. I mean, people are losing their fucking livelihoods. People are suffering mentally more now than ever. I mean, I'm ready for a Chinese hooker from Wuhan province with itchy crotch and a runny nose. He's right in my fucking face at this point. Let's get it over with. What are we waiting for? Let's go.
Yeah, man. That's the way. You're right.
That's beautiful, man.
I think we're all. I don't know. I'm the same way. Not. I don't know about the Chinese hooker, but I'm the same way about feeling that way with shows and getting out there and working and fuck it, man. And you know, if I get something, I get something at this point. I don't even care anymore. I'll just I'll deal with it. But we want to start it for people who don't know Jimmy Shubert and you know, those fuckers who don't. But if they don't, give us a little. We know you started in Philly. I met you many years ago in Florida, and I used to think you were a Florida comic because you were so ingrained in the Florida comedy scene back in the 90s. But you're a Philly guy originally, some kid magician or something, and made your way to LA.
I started doing magic. I think I was like 9 years old. I got a magic kit. By the time I was 12 and 13, I had doves, and I was doing like 3 or 4 gigs a month, 5, 6 gigs a month. My dad would have to drive me to the gigs in a beat up pickup truck and a shoebox with my doves in it. I had oversized hand-me-down tuxedo, and I was, you know, ta-da! You know, the problem with being a magician is all your headshots look like this, you know, and so I did that. And we actually go down to St. Christopher's Hospital in Philly, and I would do shows for the sick kids because that's the only way. Like if you were like trying to become a professional magician, it was like a captive audience. You'd go perform for the kids, and they would go, "Oh, a magician's coming, great!" They would go nuts. And so I did that, and then a lot of the African American nurses would see me and hire me for their church events, and I was doing gigs in West Philadelphia and all over, and you know, it was actually kind of cool.
You're actually a working magician at that age.
Yeah, when I was that age. I mean, it's weird, man. I don't if kids would get it today. I mean, I used to go to the fucking library. I had a pretty active fucking life when I was a kid, and you know, I was doing these shows, and you know, I had jobs since I'm 11. You know, my mom had 6 boys. And, you know, even like I was paying rent and board when I was 16. There's $40 a month for, you know, with food and shit.
Have you had a job outside of the show business in a way? Have you ever been anything but a magician or a comic?
That's how I was able to afford. Like I had to make money so I could buy more magic tricks. So I could live this thing of becoming a professional magician.
You're reinvesting, sure, absolutely.
So, yeah, you know what I mean. Now I can get the candle through arm trick. It'd be a nice piece to my show.
The dream. That's a dream someday to have that. To have the linking rings.
Yeah, the linking rings. I was. That's where I was. I want to do the cups and balls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to do some of the classes.
I've been involved in that a few times. The cup and balls.
When I hit it, and you know, and I went to a magnet school. I went to the Craven Performing Arts High School in Philadelphia, the public version, not the private performing arts. And then, you know, I could have gone to Juilliard out, but I didn't. I left and went to Los Angeles to tell dick jokes. Because after, like, when I was 18, I just started doing stand-up comedy, and I did it for like a couple of years in Philly, and then I just left for Los Angeles.
Were you doing comedy magic, or was it straight magic? Or were you doing more comedy magic?
Straight comedy. I didn't want to cross the streams. I had respect for magic as for what magic is. And I had respect for comedy for what it is, and that you shouldn't. Right. I didn't think you should cross the streams. Although there's some people that do it extremely well. The Amazing Jonathan, Matt King. I just didn't think. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to become a straight up, you know.
Right. And who was in Philly at that age when you go into?
Todd Glass was there. Todd Glass, Ron Gollop, Keith Robinson. I started with. You know, I mean, I was a kid. I was like, I had my brother's driver's license.
I guess everybody was, right? All those guys.
Yeah, pretty much back then. Yeah.
Oh, you were sneaking in the joints with your brother's license?
Yeah, well, because I was a little young to be doing it. I think he had to be 18. I was 17. I got my brother's license. I could fill out a number and drop it in a bucket. And so I like started working on that towards the end of the kind of magic stuff, and then. Yeah, you know, there was Comedy Factory Outlet in Philly and the Comedy Works. There was 2 clubs. Right. They both did open mic nights, and Craig Schumer was booking the Ambler Cabaret, and John Barleycorns was out in Villanova. So you're able to do like a couple of one-nighter things, and I just started, I just knew that like if I wanted to get to LA and I wanted to, start working on it. And I got a job there as a doorman at the Comedy Store. And then I started doing the open mics, and I started doing the LA Cabaret and the Laugh Factory. Laugh Factory wasn't what it is now. Laugh Factory was like a one-room joint. I think they only sell Zima. They only sell those wine coolers. They didn't really have a liquor license in there.
Yeah.
And then the Comedy Store.
One quarter of the size
it
is now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was doing like the Natural Fudge. I was doing all these open mics there, and I just kind of that's all I gave a shit about was just trying to become a professional comedian at that level and trade punchlines with the best guys in the country. And I thought that if you wanted to challenge yourself and do that, then you should go where that was happening.
And what year would that? What are we talking there when you're doing all these LA every gig kind of?
86, 87, like right in that area. 86, 87, and just trying to yeah.
You're a young buck, man. You were knocking on doors. You were taking numbers. You were focused, and you just were hitting it hard because that's what you wanted.
That's all I gave a fuck about. I went out there within 2 weeks. I had a job. I showcased for Mitzi at the Comedy Store. It's so funny. I drove across country. I was listening to these tapes called The Psychology of Winning by Dr. Dennis Waitley. And I kept listening to them over and over again till that shit was jammed in my head. And so I was out there all pumped up and very positive and ready to get my dreams going before someone took a shit on them and wiped their ass.
So let's jump ahead a little bit here. And you just dropped Zero Tolerance, your comedy special.
Yeah.
And we'll fill in between. But can you talk about that for a second? That was at the Comedy Store?
No, that was a Flappers. It was another club.
Oh, Flappers. Okay, that's a great club.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I'd done my there was a special I did called Live and Kickin' where Billy Gardell and Gary Valentine for the King of Queens and Joey Coco Diaz, and we did this little short that lit into it. So I'd done a lot of. I produced all these. This was like my second attempt to produce my own special, and so I knew enough about production. I go, I don't understand how these people are paying, like. You can do it inexpensively. It just can't look like it's cheap. And I didn't. I had, it's a great special. I'm proud of it. Plus, I want to own my stuff. I want to own all my material. And so, I go into partnerships with a distributor rather than have somebody else produce it and own it and do all that. I'd rather just own all my own stuff.
Smart.
Now,
and where can people see it? Where can
they can go to my website. It's available on the Vimeo platform. So if you have Vimeo, you could download it. You could rent it for $3.99. You could own it for $9.99, and you could download it, and it'll just live in your Vimeo account. And you can watch it whenever you want. So that's it. They can download it on iTunes. It's on iTunes. It's you can get the album. The album's called Zero Tolerance, as is the special. There's a version of it, a video version of it, and then also the album, which hit number one over the summertime. This past summer went up all the way up to number one on the iTunes comedy charts.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of this, album because it's the writing on it's really good. I'm really proud of it. So, I mean, I've got a lot of great compliments from people I admire and respect about the quality of comedy on it. So,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, let's go back. Go ahead, Al. You have something. Go ahead, Al.
No, I was just saying. I complimented it. I love the video. I would recommend people get the video because you want to see you when you're performing. It's you want to see what's going on there. You're ranting and you're raving is I like to watch anyway. I like to see video of that. But what was I going to say about the special? Alfred, you interrupted. I don't know now what I was saying. But did you
the opening?
Did
you watch the opening?
Yeah, that Oh, by the way, the animation was that done by Jimmy Carroll?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It was absolutely done by Jimmy Carroll.
Yeah, he did our logo, and he's
Jimmy,
he's unbelievable.
He's a very funny comedian, but he's really gifted with animation and stuff. And man, did he do an amazing job! And he did it on a couple levels so they could animate his drawings, which were
so
great.
Cool. It looks great.
So, it's like I wanted it to have that kind of Sin City feel. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the color theme is the red, black, and white kind of theme. It goes from the commercial to and even when the special starts, it starts off in black and white and then just bleeds into color because it was a way to go from the animation to the special.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks great.
Really,
But you've had some cool stuff you've always had like cool, like I remember going to a comedy club before I knew you, and your old headshot was like a clown face. Half your face was a clown, half was, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? That's why I love that. That looked great. Yeah. And I mean, where'd something like that come from? Was that just you thinking of it like I want to stand out a little bit?
Well, you know what? I had the idea, and a friend of mine who was no longer with us, rest his soul, a guy named Richard Gherkin, shot that headshot. I just put a piece of tape down the center of my face and then made myself up, and I just peeled it down so it was like perfectly symmetrical. On the clown side, I'm kind of frowning, and on the other side, my lip was kind of turned up a little bit. I had this great, really interesting composition, and it was really like really, really well done. I mean, but my buddy Dick Pickle took that. I call him Dick Pickle because his name's Richard Gherkin, but he did the shot. So, but I've always looked into like kind of reinvesting in your career. You always got to have a great tour poster or a great,
Right. Well, a lot of guys don't. Most comics don't. They have a picture from 1985, and that's it. I'm done. And that's it. You always had cool stuff and new stuff, so it stood out. You know what I mean? Where even when I didn't know you, I was like, "Who's that guy?
Who's that little thing?
Who's that guy?" Yeah. Now, when you're in L.A. and you're working now, you're with Kinison, you're doing all. Remember the Sam Kinison? You toured with the Outlaws, and you did all this stuff. Now, where does it go when I meet you in Florida in the 90s? You're living there. Did you again get out of L.A.?
I
had enough. Was it enough of Sam?
Yeah, well, no, Sam died. He died in 92. Oh. And every time I went to do comedy in LA, you would run into somebody and they would start talking about it. And I didn't really feel like performing. And so I wanted to get away from all that. I wanted to take everything I learned from Sam. And a lot of it was what not to do. I mean, he was a brilliant comedian. He's a great influence on my life, put a lot of cool moments in my life. But I wanted to actually then go back to Florida again and start over and try to get back. Mm-hmm. Because you're opening for somebody. It's great. They're there to see them. You get to have the experience. But I wanted to go really work on becoming – I wanted to get back to my roots of why I started doing stand-up comedy, which was to make people laugh. And I took a job as a house MC, and I wound up at a club called Haggerty's down in Boca Raton. Right. And, and I was doing, 6 nights a week. I was doing stand-up. And that's where I really found my voice. Mm-hmm. Was in that club because I was doing it 6 nights a week. And some of the same audience was coming back, and I was really writing. And I was really like using the time on stage to find my authentic voice. And that's where I found it, was after I'd been to LA but I'd seen enough of it. I mean, I was a doorman at the Comedy Store. I got to watch some of the greatest comedians in the world.
Right.
Gary Shandling and Andrew Dice Clay and Louis Anderson and Sam Kinison and all these, like Arsenio Hall and George Carlin would come in and Robin Williams would come in. And so you had to watch all these amazing comedians. I used to just sit there in the back and just study it. And so I thought I should get out of there and kind of start over and rebuild myself. And then I did that for about 5 years. And that's when I crashed the Montreal Comedy Festival. I wasn't really invited, but I went up there to see if I could get into the festival. And I did. I wound up getting into the festival, and Brandon Tartikoff had come up to me and all this stuff. And then Brandon, this is like 5 years later where I started working on my stand-up and stuff. And I got a pilot. And I got 2 development deals back to back. I think that was like 96.
Okay.
97, 98. I got a pilot. And then I just went back to LA and started working on, because I had an agent, I had a manager. And from that point on, I started auditioning. I got the movie Go. I got, I started booking some ERs. I started, getting my strategy with my manager at the time was to get as many co-starring roles as I could to build a list of credits. Because sometimes the co-starring roles, only like 1 or 2 lines or 3 lines. It wasn't very competitive back then to get those. And
but on a reel back to back, that looks great.
Yeah, but on a reel back to back, it looks great. And then also I started getting bigger roles. I mean, Go was a big role, and then I got on with Kevin James and the King of Queens, and they brought me on for about 15 episodes, and got some other movies. The 1 Hour Photo, The Italian Job, and just little things. I got into Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I got to see, so I just started building my reel and doing a lot of that stuff, because I realized at some point, if you did enough acting work, you can get a pension fund. I mean, with the Screen Actors Guild, and that was back in the golden day. You get insurance, you get everything. I mean, being a stand-up was great, but they offer all these other.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic.
so I started, just doing all that. And then I just kind of, obviously this pandemic has kind of been like, I actually just did a movie with Hopper Penn, Sean Penn's kid. A guy named Michael Maxis directed it, but Michael Madsen's in it, Roseanne Arquette, Wayne Newton, Cowboy Cerrone from the USC. It's a really cool little movie called Puppy Love, and I just introduced it at the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival.
I saw the clip of that. Yeah, it looked like that was an outdoor pandemic-y thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's going to be in theaters this coming year, and so I'm just keeping. I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed, very lucky. So I just keep working on my stand-up, and I keep working on coming up with new ideas and new things. And I never want to get complacent. I never want to get bored. I always, look, what's the next thing to do? I mean, Are you one
of those guys who takes the special and dumps it and then starts over? Do you do material from the special if I go see you tonight?
I would tour with that material for a year because people have seen it. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, I mean, it's, I'm working on a lot of new stuff too. I build my act from the inside out. Like I'll start with this act and I'll start putting a bit here and a bit here until it overtakes, most of the act until you can let the act overwrite the old act. And then I give myself a couple of years, like 3 or 4 years and stuff. And then kind of come up with a new hour and then film it and then release it. But because you get the money from the audio if you release an album, you get money from that. They play that on XM Sirius Radio. You get that money, and so I want to be, I want to own it. I want a Netflix special. A lot of those things get buried after a couple of weeks. I want to own my shit. I want my shit to be out there. I want to get paid on it, and it's like. I'm not, eventually you can put it on Amazon or whatever and do that, but I don't give a shit anymore. I mean, especially with social media, you can do whatever the fuck you want it,
But if someone goes to see you live, will will you recall a bit from years ago and do it tonight kind of thing? Or is it all in the past?
What the thing is, most of that stuff is gone. Like, I dump it. Once I put it out there, I'll come up with a new hour. Every once in a while I may do something, some throwback stuff, but only because,
well, you must have comics and other people request. I think when we worked together, you were in Tampa a year and a half ago. You did a cancer benefit. We do, right? I remember. I think I requested one or two things, and you're like, "Oh, all right, I'll do it." Yeah. You must have that from comics going, "Hey, do the conjoined, the conjoined
twin bit."
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Well, no, look, I mean, it's a great bit, but by today's standards out, they tar and feather you and run you out of town if you do something like that. But, I know it's fucking hell. Believe me, it's hilarious. I haven't done it in a while, but if someone gave me a request for it, I would fucking do it.
Also, it could pop up in, like you're improvising or whatever. It just pops up because of an incident or a heckle or something.
Yeah,
it might bring you into
a conjoined twin in the front row. Maybe you see them. Go, hey.
Well, it's so funny. I was showcasing for the Montreal Comedy Festival when they finally did invite me up. I was following the Sklar brothers. And I go, well, how often you get this set up? I go, how about I have for the Sklar brothers? Identical twins, yet not connected in any way. And I was off to the races.
That was my point. That was my whole point.
After 3 years of crash in Montreal, they finally invited me up because I hadn't shaved. I didn't tuck in my shirt. I was on my way to the fucking airport. I literally didn't give a fuck.
That's where I first saw you, was Montreal in '96, and I do remember you crashed it. I was doing the New Faces, and you came up there, but I remembered you. I go, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Because you were running around, you were working it, and everybody remembered your name. People call you Shuby. Now, is that a nickname? Is that a moniker from your youth, or is that a comedian thing?
That's Shuby. I've been called that my whole life.
Your whole life.
All my brothers are Shubes. I got fucking 6 brothers. We're all Shuby or some version of Shuby Dooby. Shubes, whatever they.
I was hanging with Kevin Flynn and Jackie Flynn last night, Mike Burton, and then I said, I go, Jimmy Shubert's going to be on the podcast tomorrow. I was like, Shuby, and I'm like, I don't know Jimmy obviously because I don't call him Shuby.
Yeah. Well, that's just it's just been my nickname my whole life. Shuby, Shubert, Shuby, but it's good. Yeah, I don't mind at all. Actually, I like it.
Yeah. What's the next gig, man? Where can people? What's coming up?
Well, man, like I said, I mean, it seems like everybody's got a fucking podcast today, so I guess that'll be the next thing.
Well, congratulations, you're the third dick. This is your permanent position. Didn't you tell him?
I mean, it's just like, it's so, I've tried to like bite my lip but as crazy as the world, like we're living in the fucking upside down, like 2020 was the fucking, they released a tape that said, yes, there are aliens out there. And that was the least weirdest thing that fucking happened. Now every time I go online, I see some kind of weird fucking spaceship, and like nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody cares.
I mean, it is fucking. It's been complete. It's been the dumbing down of America. They've been doing it.
Oh, that's been going on for 2 decades.
No, well, yeah, but since the end of World War II, I mean, the fucking idiot box in your fucking. I mean, why do you think they call it programming? I mean, people it's just. I can't be quiet anymore. So I may start a podcast, and I know it's like every time someone asks me to do a podcast, I always hear, "Hey, you want to get canceled 10 years from now? Suck me on a podcast."
Well, it's like Twitter too, though. I mean, look at Twitter; they can call back fucking 20 years ago, or however old Twitter is. See a tweet, and then you're out. So it's all there. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
It's ridiculous. First off, it's just like fucking Instagram, fucking Twitter, Facebook. All internet ghettos designed to eradicate original thought or original ideas. You better go on a group think. I mean, fucking, it's fucking little Johnny can't read. It's worse than that. Little Johnny can't fucking think. Little Johnny confuses thinking with feeling. Little Johnny can't control how he feels about something because you're going to limit your ability to say it.
And yet we have to participate.
We have to adhere to it.
We have to do it, though.
Move it forward.
For this business, we got to do it. Even though we all fucking hate it, we all got to be on Instagram as men in our 50s. You got to post shit on Instagram. It's it's ridiculous.
I love it. We go, hey, you gonna go on TikTok? I'm grown fucking great. Another app where 14-year-olds get to tell me I fucking suck.
And then next year, a year from today, you'll be on TikTok. I mean, that's
as long as you can make it funny, man. As long as you can make it funny, and you should have your own podcast.
Yeah, I mean. Well, you're right. Whatever. I'll play the fucking game, but I'm only giving you some stuff. I'm not. A lot of that shit, people have like full-on mental breakdowns. Like I go, that's a rant that should be reserved for the inside of a therapist's office.
And what about exactly? What about live? Where are we seeing you live coming up? This airs. This will be out tomorrow, Friday. This is on Friday.
Oh yeah, so, I'm doing this Saturday the 10th. I'll be in Fort Pierce over at the Comedy Corner at the Sunrise Theater. I'm doing the 9th, the 7th, I'm at the West Palm Beach Improv. I'm doing a show with Jackie Sanchez out there called Jacked Up. I'm doing that on the 7th. The 9th, I'm in Gatsby's, and then I do, just follow me on social media at Jimmy Shubert on Twitter and at Jimmy Shubert on Instagram and Jimmy Shubert Comedian Facebook. Not TikTok yet.
Yeah, he's on TikTok.
Another couple of weeks. Shuby. That. You have to register that.
Yeah. We got to do something.
Al, how are you handling all this stuff?
It's I'm working when I can, and I hate the Zoom shows. I hate fucking sitting at a table doing anything. It's nothing.
Fucking stand-up comedy.
I know. So I've been doing what I can. I've done a bunch of shows, but not enough really for a year and a half or whatever.
It could be worse, Al. You could be a close-up magician.
That's true.
those guys aren't going to work till next August.
It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while where they can call somebody up from the audience to help out.
You want to pick a card? I'm not touching those cards.
But although you've done a couple of tricks, some of your favorite tricks, videos I've seen in the past, and you've posted them.
I've done a couple of things to keep me occupied during quarantine. I mean, it's actually funny because I just kind of recently got back into it, like 8 years ago. Like 2-3 summers ago, I auditioned to become a regular, like a magician member of the Magic Castle, and I passed first time out. So, I still like performing magic and doing it all. Yeah. And I just, but
they're doing comedy shows in the parking lot out there.
Yeah, they are. They're doing comedy. Really? They'll drop a banner on a fucking median in the middle of 95. Hey, we got a comedy night down there. I love how there's a couple of shows I've seen where you go out and it's like comedy against your will, and these people are going up and they're yelling at the audience. I go, who fucking told you this isn't comedy? This is some kind of guerrilla fucking warfare. Like you're trying. I mean, comedy's like subtle and has some finesse to it. I tell you that. These people trying to watch a hockey game, it's like, crazy.
I think it's important to embrace it though, because when we come out of this, it's gonna be a slingshot, and I believe.
Well, it's interesting. The few shows I have done, they are, the people are really grateful. Like it's like they are fucking. They really. It's almost like you're doing a mitzvah for them now because they realize how much they missed it. And a lot of people, I mean, for it's good for their mental well-being is to get out and fucking laugh a little bit. My God, it's been a lot of people forget.
And I found those audiences to open to go with anything. They're not judgmental because they're the people who are saying, well, we're going out. We don't give a shit. We're having fun. So they've been pretty good. Like I haven't had the ooh and the moaning and all that shit. Yeah. They've been more of like the fuck PC, fuck that. You know what I mean? So,
like, like I always tell people, you guys stay, the fucking the straw and shit. We had to drink a paper fucking straw. I'm going, hey, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Do you mind if we survive first before you fucking get the fucking
the turtles?
The turtles. I mean, it's like, can we survive? It's a pandemic, people.
Yeah.
we're trying to survive ourselves.
Shuby, we can't thank you enough, man. Really,
thanks.
Really
Thanks
enjoyed it. See him, Jimmy Shubert. Check out the special Zero Tolerance on Vimeo and all social media. Not TikTok yet, but he'll be there.
You can go to my website. Yeah. My website, jimmyshubert.com, will lead you to the special. It'll lead you to all the social media. So just go to jimmyshubert.com, and from there you can go anywhere. Al, good seeing you. And
good seeing you, buddy.
I hope to see you
soon. You too, man. Be well. Stay safe. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, pal.
All right, man. Take care. Patreon.com/The2Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What?
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
No, really, don't mess with me, because I don't come down to the bus station and slap the dick out of your mouth when you're working, do I? Oh, get on up here, motherfucker. Give me security. I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
Okay, show.
All right. Subscribe. Mary.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.